When people think of national parks, they usually think of open skies, quiet trails, and places where life slows down. But for some families, those same places became the last known setting in a disappearance that was never fully explained. In this story, the focus is not on the mystery first. It is on the people who vanished and the very real uncertainty left behind. Across the United States, national parks and wilderness areas draw hikers, campers, families, and experienced outdoorsmen every year. Many of them are simply out for the day, expecting a normal walk, a scenic overlook, or a quiet campout. Some are seasoned in the outdoors, and some are not. What connects these cases is that they involve real people with routines, relationships, and plans that were interrupted without warning. That is what makes these disappearances so unsettling. These are not fictional characters or exaggerated campfire stories.
They are missing persons cases. People with names, families, and lives that continued for everyone else, except for them. In many of these cases, the last known movements are painfully ordinary. A hiker starts a trail and never comes back. A camper is seen at a site, then gone by morning. A family takes a day trip into a park and does not return on schedule. Sometimes there is a final phone call, a reported sighting, or a vehicle left behind. Sometimes there is almost nothing at all. That ordinary quality is part of what makes these cases so difficult. There is often no dramatic warning, no confirmed struggle, and no clear point where the trail of evidence ends. In wilderness disappearances, the last seen moment may be the only solid anchor investigators have. What is discovered after someone vanishes can matter just as much as what is missing.
In many national park cases, search teams find a car in a lot, gear abandoned on a trail, or personal items that suggest the person was out in the area, but do not explain where they went next. The investigative challenge is that wilderness can erase context quickly. Weather changes, terrain is difficult, and time matters enormously. A person can be missing for hours before the first search starts, and by then, footprints, tracks, and other trace evidence may already be gone. Even when search teams are deployed quickly, large parks cover immense acreage, and the same landscape that attracts visitors can make a search almost impossibly broad. In some cases, the discovery phase turns into a frustrating pattern. A few confirmed facts, then gaps, then years of uncertainty. That lack of closure is not because the case was unimportant. It is because there simply was not enough physical evidence to explain what happened.
Investigations into national park disappearances often involve local law enforcement, park rangers, search and rescue teams, and sometimes federal support, depending on jurisdiction and circumstance. But even strong efforts can run into the same obstacles again and again. Rugged terrain, delayed reporting, weather, sparse witnesses, and the absence of a clear crime scene. These cases also tend to be difficult because there is often no immediate proof that a crime occurred. If there is no body, no confirmed witness, and no obvious evidence of foul play, investigators are left with a missing person, not a confirmed homicide. That can narrow or complicate what can legally and practically be done. The result is that some of these cases remain active for a time, but with limited leads. Others grow cold because the available information is so thin that every new search turns up the same unanswered questions. Families are left waiting for a breakthrough that never comes, while the file slowly loses momentum. These cases go cold for a few recurring reasons. First, wilderness itself is difficult. A national park is not a controlled environment. It is huge, remote, and constantly changing. A person can be lost, injured, or separated from a group in ways that are hard to reconstruct later. Second, there may be no clear timeline.
If no one knows exactly when the person was last seen, it becomes harder to know where to search and what to prioritize. Even a difference of a few hours can matter. Third, evidence is often limited. A trail camera may not have captured anything useful. A witness may have only seen a person from a distance. A vehicle may have been moved, unlocked, or left in a way that does not reveal much. Without a strong physical trail, investigators can be left with possibilities instead of answers.
And finally, there is the simple reality that some disappearances leave no obvious trace behind.
That is one of the hardest truths in these cases. Not every missing person case produces a dramatic clue. Sometimes the silence is the only thing that remains. Today, these national park disappearances remain unsolved. That means the central questions are still unanswered. Where the person went, what happened after the last confirmed sighting, and whether the disappearance was accidental, medical, environmental, or something else entirely. The larger pattern is what makes these cases especially haunting. In the United States, people continue to go missing in parks and wilderness areas every year, and many of those cases never receive a clean resolution. Some are eventually found. Others remain open indefinitely, with families still hoping for even one piece of information that can explain the final hours.
For viewers who follow these stories,
The most important thing is to remember that each case began with a person who was simply living their life. A hike, a trip, a campout, a family outing. And then, at some point, the day became the last normal day anyone could account for. If you think about these cases, the question is not only what happened out there, it is also how many answers are still waiting in places that are hard to search and even harder to understand. What do you think is the hardest part of these wilderness disappearances? The size of the search area, the lack of evidence, or the fact that some people seem to vanish without leaving a trace at all?